Next up, presenting VCI Global.
Thanks very much, and thank you for making the time to come and listen to the presentation on VCI. I'm delighted that yesterday we put out our results, so I've got something meaningful to speak to, which I was looking forward to and obviously had insight, but now I can kind of share it, because for the last 6 months I've been evangelizing VCIG, but without really being able to show in person how we're starting to deliver on the kind of growth plan that we've got and the future expectations for growing that business further. So 150% growth in revenues and profits. All of our underlying activities grew over the last year and delivering very significant gross profit margins. We feel we're in a really great space, but my challenge today is to try and explain to you how this is, in a sense, the tip of the iceberg. The pipeline that we've got that's coming to market, and our clients and our relationships and our network allow us to hopefully supersize this going forward. And it's to try and convey that to everyone as to where those opportunities lie. And hopefully, this time next year, I'll be standing up here, a better set of results and further growth, and showing how the network and those relationships are really delivering. So sitting behind this, we've got about a dozen further companies that are key client relationships, and what our goal is to bring them to market in the US. So we identify, we look for the fastest growing, best placed companies in Asia and beyond, and we try to nurture them, build a relationship to bring them to US capital markets. But it's not just a transactional relationship. We build a long-term relationship, and that's also really key here, that we're not just in it for the fees of bringing someone to market. It's a much, much deeper relationship that often involves sales, territorial agreements, distribution agreements, IP rights. So we not only bring our customers and our clients to market in the US, but we've got a long-standing and aligned relationship with them for their future growth once they are public in the US. And that's a long-tail revenue, which is highly substantial to us and aggregates and obviously builds. So as you build the portfolio from one publicly listed client through to hopefully about 10 in a year's time, and so on, where we maintain some type of revenue stream from all of those going forward. That builds and builds over time, and is also at a very high significant margin. So that's really the journey that we're on. We offer business consulting, technology consulting, marketing consulting. What it's really about is how we can identify these fast-growing businesses, vet them, and then align them so that we then bring them to market in the US. And we've almost got an unfair advantage there through some of the kind of historic legacy business that VCIG undertakes in Southeast Asia. So it started its roots as an IR advisory consultancy. So it advises hundreds of companies in Southeast Asia on their IR and their PR. And that gives us an insight to so many different businesses at a very early stage that it'd be impossible for us here to get that spread of exposure and access to the expertise in those growth markets. So out of those several hundred clients, we then hone in and we look to firm up relationships with the appropriate ones to bring them to the US markets. So we don't go chasing just anybody. We're able to be very selective. We look at typically the kind of industry leaders in niche sectors within that industry. So we look at companies that are very fast growing and have potential for them to expand from their existing market rapidly into new markets, and we help them with that journey. So they might be only operating currently in Malaysia or in Indonesia or in Singapore, but we look at how they can utilize that footprint to expand both across Southeast Asia and then potentially bring a lot of that tech and IP into the Western markets. And that's these companies need their hands held through that process. They're good at what they do, which is why we've got them in that relationship and we want to bring them forward, but they need assistance. So that's where we come in and we build that longer term relationship. And that's really, sitting behind the results and the future prospects of the business. We've got significant relationships and significant opportunities in the pipeline to deliver super scale from the results you saw previously. So I won't kind of bore you with everything on these individual slides, but we've got various things that we believe make us give us a differentiating factor, give us a market lead, and we utilize that across 3 or 4 key sectors. It won't terribly surprise you, but AI, technology, fintech, gamification and gaming, and where we try to look at those and see where there are synergies as well between some of our clients or some of the opportunities and the relationships that we also have, say, in the US and in Europe. Within each of the divisions, we offer underlying services and consulting, but really it's about identifying the clients and bringing them to US capital markets and then find the right relationships here to assist them after their listing. So like I said, we look at fintech, we look at AI, we look at gamification, and throughout we're looking at ways that we can expand both their revenues and therefore our revenues going forward as well. Over the years, multiple awards, a few examples of the clients that we've assisted, primarily in Southeast Asia, with our business and technology consulting, and then marketing consulting. So these are some of the kind of leading companies in the region, and we're trying to replicate that and bring some of these into the Western markets and the Western capital markets. We've got a strong emphasis on AI, as I'm sure a lot of people, and a lot of other companies that are here this week have as well. But what we're looking to do is we're trying to integrate that and bundle it so it isn't just individual AI solutions on a standalone basis, but we're able to package that together, bring together a number of AI tools and services such that that has a significant added value. A few of the companies that I mentioned, we've got right now about a dozen in the pipeline. One just listed last week, so that was YY Group, and that's a kind of staffing technology platform based out of Singapore. Great client base, Ritz-Carlton, all the big hotel brands in the West, and some of the big food and beverage companies based out in Singapore. They're expanding into new regions with our assistance. So that's a very good example of one, like I said, listed, I think it was last Monday, so very recently. And that we've got about a dozen already signed up on a similar journey. And we probably add somewhere between 1 and 2 additional companies to the portfolio pipeline every month. So as we build that, the kind of aggregated revenues from the various relationships start to expand and can expand very rapidly. A few more of them. Koji is an interesting one. It's a secure messaging system, so a bit like WhatsApp, but highly secure. So we've already got one of the European countries' governments and their prime minister uses this. So it's something where we think we can build a very significant footprint alongside Koji in terms of a user base. And so that's an example where we've effectively bought that company into VCIG. We're going to incubate it, build it out, and then spin that off. So again, we've got kind of 2 main sources of significant revenue. One being taking the clients on their own IPO journey and then having the long tail revenue relationship with them. And then secondly, where we incubate IP, we then develop it, we scale it, and then we bring that to market in its own right as a spin-off from VCIG. So doing the maths, you can see how we have significant upside capital value that sits way beyond anything that's on the balance sheet, because on the balance sheet, we're effectively valuing all those assets at kind of close on zero, because it's hard to estimate what they'll be worth in due course. But we're building a larger and larger portfolio of effectively unrecognized future earnings and profit. A few of the recent headlines, but I'll throw it open to any questions now. I'm very happy to expand further, and anyone that would like further details, please feel free to come and see me at the end. Well, I'm sure I haven't answered everything. Go ahead.
Much interested in the performance of your clients after they go public.
Yep.
So let me start with what services do you provide to them, and what has been the track record of some of these companies after they go public?
Yeah. So just to be clear, YY that went public last week was the first after we listed about a year ago, just over a year ago. So it's the first one that we brought to market. Given the kind of gestation period of engaging a client and bringing them to market. So we've got about another 2 or 3 that should be doing their public filings in the next month or 2. So the flow to market is going to accelerate significantly. But it's building up the pipeline of those opportunities has been what we've been focused on as we get them through all the DD and the audits, et cetera, et cetera. So we handhold the clients through that pre-IPO process from start to finish. Everything that they need in coordination with advisors that are here, the banks, the lawyers, the accountants, et cetera. And then aftermarket, so I think you're just addressing a question. We also then provide the kind of strategic advisory services. So around how to say, for instance, taking YY, that staffing company, they're looking to expand into markets both within Southeast Asia, but also outside of Southeast Asia. So that's where we're very active in introducing them, helping them through those relationships so that they can onboard into new territories. We also try and help with the marketing of the business, the PR, the IR, in order that they stay visual and relevant within the investor community.
And I think on one of the slides before I saw an announcement, you've announced Singapore fintech companies that can client that.
Sorry, do you know which one you were referring to there?
No, the slide was recent announcement.
Oh, yeah. So we've linked up with a number of fintech businesses as well as AI businesses. Some of those, like I said, we bring in-house. Some are just external clients that we're offering services to. I can give you the details on that afterwards. Anything else I can address? I mean, I think the kind of parting message would be that the results you saw, that came out yesterday, 150% approximately, revenue and profit growth. That's the start of the journey. That was based on, a far smaller sample of the portfolio. That portfolio has grown about 400% since those results. So that's obviously backward looking. So we can see significant opportunities to grow the revenues and the profit significantly over the coming years. And when we then start to move into the spin-offs of some of the incubated assets, then there's enormous upside potential. And a couple of the companies that will be joining the portfolio in the next month or 2, where we're just signing up the final agreements, we're moving up to bigger, better, larger companies with far higher valuations. So we're looking at several which are in the 700 million to potential unicorn type valuations. And that takes us into a whole new realm, both in terms of our relationships and our potential value. So, I see in terms of, where the stock is now, we're roughly at 50 million market cap. We delivered a 7 million bottom line profit. So that to me, on current metrics, provides significant upside. But it's more to me, not just around the current metrics, it's around what we are delivering, what we have got in the pipeline, and we'll bring across the line over the next 12 months. Thank you. Appreciate it.